Hey y'all, happy Thursday. So let's pick up and dig back in. I want to go back to Ephesians 6:15. So we did read part of that yesterday. So this is our verse about the shoes of peace. And he says, having shod your feet in preparation to face the enemy. So if he says we are putting these shoes on so that we will be prepared to face the enemy, then what does that mean if you don't have the shoes on? If we go without these shoes, without peace, we will be ill-equipped to face the enemy. And so remember the components of the Roman soldiers' shoes. So we talked about these very first week when we began talking about the shoes of peace. And so the Roman soldiers' shoes were made up of two parts, and they had the greave and the shoe. And the greaves began at the bottom of the knee, and they went all the way down the shin, around the calf, and rested on the top of the foot. Now these greaves were solid pieces of brass. And we talked about what they are, but we didn't really talk about their purpose. Of course, the purpose of these shoes was to protect the Roman soldier. But the greaves, why not just leave the shoe? Why not just have the spiky shoes? That's pretty dangerous enough. That's both an offensive and a defensive weapon. But these greaves were even more of a defensive weapon. And so they protected the soldier's legs in combat on rocky terrain and from thorns as they were traveling. They protect them from being bruised, cut, or broken. And if your legs were severely hurt in battle, how successful would the rest of you be? I was trying to figure out how to word that, and that was the best that I could come up with. So if your legs were severely hurt, severely wounded, cuts, lacerations, or even broken, the rest of you would not be very successful. So soldiers would go in rocky terrain, and for us, what could that mean? Difficult places, hard places, unsure places even that we may have to walk in this life. Maybe when you can't see the whole picture, or you can't see the whole road before us, or just difficult circumstances where you run the risk of being bruised or battered a little bit. Those greaves, which are part of the shoes of peace, offered protection against the rocky terrain, to protect your shins from being cut and bruised. Another tactic of the enemy was to try to break the leg of I'd say a battle tactic is that the forces against each other would try to break the other's leg. And so they would run up or dash to a soldier and kick their shin so hard that it would cause their leg to be broken. Which again, if your legs are knocked out from under you, or you don't have the use of your legs, the rest of you is not going to be able to fight very well. But these brass greaves made the tactic extremely difficult. The brass covering the shin made it very difficult, if not impossible, for the soldier's legs to be broken in battle. Regardless of what battle you may be in, or how hard the enemy tries to knock your legs out from under you, God's peace is enough to sustain you. And I want to go back to one of the verses that we read last week, actually 2 days last week. We looked at Deuteronomy 30. There we go. I just had to find Deuteronomy in my Bible. Deuteronomy 33:29, and it says that your shoes shall be iron and brass, and as thy days, so shall your strength, rest, and security be. And so I really do like tying these two things together. Those shoes of brass, those greaves, which provide the strength to protect your legs, to protect your walking from the rocks and bruising and lacerations, from swords of the enemies, from the enemy coming in and trying to kick you and absolutely knock your legs out from under you. Your shoes shall be as iron, and as your days, so shall your strength be. And we'll pick up here tomorrow. I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.